Hey guys, what's up, how's it going? My name is Robin. Welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my monthly update on the stock portfolio. We are approaching the end of the month, so I figured I'd do a deep dive inside the portfolio today. And so, of course, like usual, we're going to be covering the portfolio update first. We'll talk about the stocks I hold. I'll give you guys an update on my holdings. I'll show you guys the dividends, and I'll give you guys the all-time returns for all my stocks inside my portfolio. I like to be 100% transparent on this channel, and we're going to be doing a deep dive. So today's going to be a little bit of a longer video, so I do apologize in advance, but we're going to be going through a lot of stuff inside the portfolio. So like usual guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and remember to subscribe to the channel if you guys want more Canadian based investing content. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to be covering really quickly is going to be my account. We'll do a quick little update on all my accounts, and then kind of later on towards the video I will give you guys a deep dive of all of our holdings and show you guys the returns, and then finish up with the dividend income like usual. So here we go really quickly. It's going to be the portfolio update. We have $113,000 inside my portfolio, just shy of $114,000. Markets have actually been pretty good today. Actually, the past little while, we did see a big dip kind of happen over the past week or two, but the past few days have seen quite a bit of recovery, mostly coming from VFE, the US markets, and the Canadian markets as well. So I'll do a quick little update like later on in the video. I'll talk about that a little bit, and I'll give you guys a quick little year-to-date update on those funds. But we did see quite a bit of growth here. So we'll start with the TFSA first. We'll jump in here really quickly, and I'll show you guys how it's been doing. So the one-day return is up 1% overall. This is a very muchly focused on US growth stocks, but we do have some Canadian funds as well. So 1% return over the past day. The 1 week return is 0%, 1 month return is 0%, 3 month return is 3%, so a little bit of growth overall. 1 year return is staying about 3%, and all time we are up about 13%, which is $12,000 inside of the TFSA. We'll switch over to the personal account, which is one that holds mostly Canadian stocks. All time, the personal account is up 15%, so it's done quite well. But if we look at things like the 1 month return, it is down negative 3%. And most of this is coming because this is Canadian funds. And Canadian stocks actually most of the funds actually we hold, and a lot of Canadian stocks in general, have actually dipped down quite a bit over the past week if you guys have been watching. So quite a bit of a drop there, but nonetheless it's still doing well, and that's why I like to have a balanced approach inside my portfolios. A little bit of Canadian stocks, a little bit of American stocks. And the second account we're going to be focusing on today is going to be my fiance's TFSA. This is the other main account that we have inside of our portfolios. So this is her Wealthsimple trade account. We'll go through here really quickly, and then once again we'll go do a quick little deep dive afterwards once we just do a quick little update here. So her portfolio has $18,000, and we've been kind of slowly growing this. You've probably seen a bit of an increase since the last video. Her TFSA up. We'll kind of do a quick little recap here. I'll just go all time because her accounts are very similar to mine. So we have a return of 2%, which is $354 all time. And since we first started growing this in the beginning of May, we went from $12,000 to $18,000. So once again, we're pretty aggressively growing this. And some of this money also is coming from other funds that I have in different accounts. I did have some cash saved up as well, and I did have some crypto. So maybe I'll talk about that in a future video. But I really don't talk about crypto too much on this channel. I like to focus on stocks predominantly here. So we do have some money today. And speaking of which, before we actually go inside the stocks and I give you guys a deep dive inside my portfolio, I want to talk about today's video sponsor. So this brings us to today's video sponsor, Passive. Now I've talked quite a bit about Passive over the last couple of videos because I'm actually using this tool on a regular basis on the channel. So this is going to be a sponsored video. So basically we'll do a quick little overview of Passive. I'll tell you guys some cool features, what I'm using it for, and then we'll talk about basically what you guys can get if you sign up for a free version of Passive, or if you want to go with the elite version. Before we go any further, I just want to mention really quick, if you are a Questrade user, you do get a free version of Passive Elite. So if you are a Questrade user, it's a no-brainer. Sign up. It's completely free to do so, and you can use this cool tool to manage your portfolios. In fact, the biggest reason why I'm using Passive personally is to manage multiple accounts. Here's the dashboard of Passive. We can see my total holdings, $131,000 in total, and this consists of my personal account, my TFSA, and my fiance's TFSA. So pretty much everything is in here. And the cool thing I like about Passive is I can set actual targets for my portfolios. So for example, when we set up my fiance's TFSA and I started managing it, I basically went in here. We'll click on our TFSA on the left side here. We can bring it up, and I set up some allocations for her stocks. Now she holds ETFs, so it's a pretty simple approach. I can set it to be whatever targets I want, and then Passive will recommend what stocks I buy whenever I put money inside my portfolio. So if we go inside her account on Wealthsimple Trade here, here's my fiance's TFSA. She has about $16 sitting in her account. This is some leftover cash from I think a couple days ago when you bought some stocks. So Passive kind of picks this up. It'll tell me, okay, there's $16 in here. Your targets are 5% of these funds. Oh, we can see that this one fund, HYLD, has drifted off. You know, maybe we invested a little bit too much, or maybe the fund went up, or we got some dividends, whatever it is, kind of thing, right? And it represents 6.8%. So what it's going to do is it's going to recommend us to buy other stocks to help balance things out. So that's $16 right now. On the recommendation tab, it's telling me to buy 1 share of HDIV. So I don't have to do any math. I don't have to have any spreadsheets. I don't have to do any calculations. I can just check passive and buy the stocks that it tells me to buy, and it's super easy to do so. Once again, I want to mention really quickly, if you guys are a Questrade user, you do get one-click buys. So you can basically click a button and it'll buy the stock for you. But if you're a Wealthsimple user like me, you'll get buy recommendations. But it's pretty simple, because all I have to do is look at the recommendation. It tells me to buy X number of units. I can go inside my Wealthsimple account, and then I can buy the stocks that it recommends. So it's pretty simple to use. Once again, saves me a lot of time at the end of the day. And just really quickly, before we get back to the video, I just want to mention that if you guys do want to sign up for passive, you can sign up for a community user account, which is free to use, which gives you a lot of the features such as automatic calculations, cash and dividend notifications. You can keep your stocks, you can set up multiple different accounts, and you can connect your brokerages and get some cool reporting features as well. If you guys do sign up for the elite membership, which is about $99 a year. Once again, want to highlight $0 for Questrade clients, so Questrade users can sign up for free. You get all these extra cool features here as well as one-click trades. So if you guys want to sign up for passive, there is a link in the description of today's video. All right, let's get back to the video and let's see how our stocks have been performing. So the next account we're going to cover really quickly is going to be my fiance's TFSA, and as you guys know, we're working to max this out ASAP. I've gotten a few questions from users on this channel, like why don't I start my own RSP? It's in the works, but for now, you know, me and my fiance are together. We're working on building up her TFSA room because she has tons of contribution room and she is lower income, so it kind of makes sense to do that. And I'm kind of a lower income myself too. We don't quite hit the threshold where it makes a lot more sense to invest into an RSP at this point. I'm kind of saving it for the future potentially, but I know I am kind of working on the RSP at the same time. I just haven't quite figured it out. For now, we're just focusing on the TFSA, keeping it simple for the time being. So here's the stocks inside her account. So she definitely has a much more basic approach. And the cool thing is that she's actually getting used to this kind of thing and using ETFs. You know, we're buying full market stuff. You know, we're buying the market overall, keeping things simple, and you really can't go wrong with this approach. And if you're somebody who wants a simpler approach, you don't want to get technical, you don't want to get into things, it makes a lot of sense. Ironically enough, I actually guarantee you my fiance's portfolio will perform just as well as mine, even though I do a little bit more individual stock picking. But really, at the end of the day, I'd still invest quite a bit in ETFs, and we'll cover my portfolio later on in the video. But here's my fiance's portfolio really quickly, some basic ETFs here. So we got the S&P 500 Vanguard. It's going to be our largest holding, representing about 50 to 60% of the portfolio. Then we have some Canadian dividend stocks for VDY, kind of giving her the Canadian market exposure, as well as some dividends to kind of balance out that growth there. And then we have some income funds to kind of increase the passive income, because she does like passive income, such as myself, and she's looking at about a 15 to maybe 20% range for the passive income funds. But this will kind of change. So we have HYLD for US markets, we have HDIV for Canadian markets, and then we have a split share fund, which is a very small holding as well. We're kind of experimenting with a few different things here. So once again, you know, things will change over time, but it's a very basic account, very simple, and it's been growing quite well. So that's her account. Now let's jump over to my account, and I'll give you guys a quick little update on my stocks and my holdings. So now we're going to focus on the holdings inside my portfolio. I'll give you guys a quick little update on the different accounts here, the different stocks I hold, and then I'll give you guys an update on the total return so we can see what the real return is. But we'll start off by focusing on showing you my Wealthsimple trade account, and this will be the growth of the companies. And I want to show you guys the Wealthsimple trade account because I want to show you guys that this is legit. I don't make up these numbers. I don't hide my holdings. I like to be public. I like to be transparent, because you need to create that trust, right? If you're not going to be public and you're not going to be transparent, you're not going to show your holdings, you know, who knows what's really going on there. So I always like to be transparent so you guys know, kind of thing. And like usual, if you guys want to dive inside my portfolios and see all of our holdings, or all of my holdings I should say, check out the link to Blossom in the description of this video. All my portfolios, all my holdings are there for you guys to analyze and check and to take a look at. So definitely check out Blossom if you guys want to see my portfolio and go through at your own pace. You could also bring it up here and go through it as I talk about it on here, so you guys can do that as well if you guys already don't have the app. So the first stock we have here is AQN. This is going to be our lowest holding at negative 22%, and this is inside our TFSA, or my TFSA to start. And then we'll talk about the personal account, and then I'll go over my my fiance's portfolio as well. So ATD is going to be the next one, about 29% gain. So that's been a very good growth stock for me. Very good growth based company. And some of the Canadian companies here, you can see them kind of dip down quite a bit. Like I mentioned, we have CNR, that's 1%. We have FTN, which is a very small holding I'm working on building here. Obviously, it's doing its own thing. Until we get the dividends, I'm not going to really kind of carry too much about that one. But we have Fortis has went down quite a bit. HDIV has went down a little bit. But once again, when we look at the total return of these funds, we'll get a much better picture. TELUS has gone actually down to the negative. TD is at 6% gain, so actually a lot of the Canadian stocks have dipped down quite a bit. VDY is at 6.81%. VFE actually got, and the rebound kind of happened with the American market. We've seen the American markets go up quite a bit. So VFE is actually up 5.24% in my TFSA. So lots of rebound inside the American markets. It kind of seems to be that way. I've noticed whenever Canadian markets go down, and whenever American markets go down, the other kind of goes up. It kind of balances things out in the end. I kind of noticed that's been a trend that's just been happening, and that's why I like having a mixture of two here. So here's a personal account, more or less the same holdings, just a few more Canadian stocks, right? A few different ones I don't hold. These are just small holdings. I've also bought these at different times. Like I bought these ones a little bit later on, so the holdings and the returns are going to be a little bit different. But nonetheless, we're going to go inside Wealthsimple, and I'll give you guys a quick little update on the total return of both of these portfolios combined. And last but not least, before we go inside the dividend section of the portfolio, when we talk about dividends, I'm going to give you guys an update on our monthly dividends and all that kind of stuff. We'll go over the return of each of our individual stocks, so total return. So this is my TFSA, my personal account. I'm sorry if this stuff kind of confuses you guys. If you guys are beginners, it's a lot to follow and there's a lot of jumping around here. But I try to do this in a way where you guys can see our different portfolios and see different metrics of it. But it's kind of complicated because some tools will let you put different portfolios, some won't let you use different accounts or different brokerages. So it's a little tricky there, so hopefully I'm not confusing you guys too much. Like usual, if you guys have any questions, just leave a comment or something. I'll try to get back to you guys as quickly as possible. But this is my TFSA and my personal account on my Wealthsimple account combined together. So VFE is the first stock we have here. All-time return is up 7.5%. So again, this is dividend income included. We can see that the dividends, it's always important to include revenue in dividends because it's a huge number, especially as you hold the stocks over the long term. Same with VDY. Like we see VDY, if we check on Wealthsimple, remember I took a peek at, we'll look at the TFSA, right? So the TFSA, if you look down here, you see it's only up 6.81%, which doesn't sound that great since we've held it since the beginning of 2020, so that's about 3 years or so. But if you look at the overall return with dividends included, it's actually 17%. So always calculate those dividends because it makes a big difference here. Same with HYLD, we're up 2.43%. So obviously these funds will grow over time as those dividend yields pay out. TD is 7.4%. Obviously the banks have had a bit of a rough year, but long term the banks are some of the best investments you can make. They're also actively growing their dividends and doing cool things, and they will recover. Like, don't worry about the banks. I know people talk about the banks. I don't think the banks are going anywhere anytime soon. We have ATD up 30% gains. This has been one of my best growth-based stocks, but I haven't bought too much of it lately. I've kind of bought it in the past, and I've kind of been holding on for now, but I will definitely buy it. It's probably one of my best growth stocks overall. And it's a very good company. I do see ATD being one of those companies that's going to do well over time. Like, it's definitely a good one to look at. AQN is down negative 18% with the dividends included. Obviously, I haven't bought too much lately. Again, it's kind of complicated because I am focusing on my fiance's TFSA. So, when I get my dividends next month, maybe I'll kind of put some money in AQN. Maybe I'll put in some of my other holdings. But we'll kind of see how things go. CNR is up 2%, took quite a bit of a hit recently. Same with TELUS. TELUS went down quite a bit. My Loblaws holding to my ESSOP is doing okay, although that went down a little bit. Fortis kind of went down a little bit too. Power Corporation as well. And then some of the higher yields like HDIV, although I don't know if this has been calculated with the new price. Yep, looks like it was updated this morning. So we do see the updated price. So 14% gain, not too bad overall. I'm still pretty happy with that. Once again, cover call ETFs will get their yield over time. XCI is one of the newer Canadian funds we've been investing into, so it's kind of dipping a little bit there. CNQ up 13%, Canadian Tire up 6%, and then we have FTN, like I mentioned earlier, just a very small holding, kind of doing its thing. But we're waiting for the dividends to kind of stack up there. And that's the total return. So I just want to give you guys the actual real return of the funds. And for me, that's the best way to do it. Once again, you guys can sign up for Wealthsimple if you want, although the tool that I'm currently using is a paid version of it. And to be fully transparent about the dividend income, I like to show you guys the dividends I got, as well as to inspire you guys, as well as to inspire myself, so we can see these funds growing. Now, like usual, guys, I do make a lot of my income from the growth of the stocks themselves, but when it comes to dividends, I like to use dividends because dividends allow us to see, we can kind of quantify things, we can kind of see the growth happen, and we can kind of to some degree control it. So, stocks go up and down, you have good years, you have bad years, but dividends, as long as you're investing in good quality companies and you're regularly being consistent with your portfolio investing into it, which you have to really do if you really want to get good consistent returns. Dividends you can kind of see grow over time. So here's the dividends. We'll do a quick little cover of the ones in May. So TD, we have $25 from TD. POW gave us a dividend of $9. TD, another dividend on TFSA. So about, I'd say about $40, $50, $60 from TD in total. HYLD, when I recovered call funds, giving us a small payout in my RSB, which is just an actual mistake I made at one point in time. So just, you can just kind of ignore that. That's an embarrassing mistake I made. I meant to buy it inside my TFSA one day and I accidentally bought it inside my RSP. So just, you can just ignore that. But HYLD for our non-registered account, $14. HYLD from our TFSA, $113. So, you know, those dividends do kind of add up over time. HDIV from our non-registered account, $7, and then HDIV from the TFSA, $3.78, and then VDY giving us about $108 or so in dividends. So pretty solid returns there. And if I bring up my spreadsheet, we can see how the dividends have been compounding over time, and this includes all of our dividend income. So my fiance's portfolio as well as my own. I basically kind of will zoom in here so you guys can see, make it nice and big. Basically what I've been doing is I have my dividends in black and then her dividends in blue. So you can see like the two different accounts, and then the total here is on the right side. So April was a pretty big month of us, hitting $574. It was a pretty big month. It was pretty solid. It was pretty exciting. It was all-time high for the dividend income, and May is actually doing pretty good as well. So $347. I don't think we have any dividends coming up towards the end of the month, other than maybe XCI might pay us a couple bucks, but nothing huge. But nonetheless, you know, $347 is a nice little jump up from the previous months there. So it's grown. It's being consistent, guys, and that's the whole point of it. And like I said, you know, dividends, we can quantify them and you can see them grow, and it keeps me going. Like, it's one of the things that really keeps me going, because, you know, I've been at this for a couple years now. I mean, it's month number 41 here, and we're slowly growing it and we're slowly getting there, but it's just as fun as always. It's always cool to look at the dividends and see them grow over time. So anyways, guys, quick little update on the dividends there. Alright guys, that's the end of today's video. So like usual, I just want to thank you guys for watching the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being viewers. I really do appreciate all you guys who take the time to watch the channel. And of course, anybody who, you know, drops a like or leaves a comment as well. Really appreciate the support, guys. So I'm just going to end this video right here. Say thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being a part of things. And remember to take care, take it easy, and remember to enjoy life. See you later, guys. Have yourself a good one, and take care.